There are two essential processing systems used for creating Dannon products: a traditional system and a system used for blended and drinks products. In the traditional system, also known as cup set, the white mass is transferred after homogenization to a holding tank called a buffer tank. The milk is held in the buffer tank until needed for packaging, at which time the culture will be introduced. In the blended and drink system, also known as tank set, cultures for each yogurt recipe are first loaded into a MIF tank. The MIF tank is a food-safe method for directly inoculating cultures into the product as it is being transferred from batching to processing. And the MIF enables a more thorough incorporation of the culture into the white mass. So prior to transferring through the MIF tank, the product is preheated, homogenized, pasteurized, and cooled to the right temperature for fermentation. Then it is transferred through the MIF for inoculation and then sent to the fermentation tank. During this process, the cultures multiply, causing the white mass to thicken. At the same time, the acidity or pH is dropping. This fermentation process usually takes between 5 to 8 hours in most cases. But when the white mass in the fermentation tank reaches its exact pH, the bacterial action must be stopped. Transferring the product from the fermentation tank through a cooling press stops the cultures from continuing to ferment. The cooling press is similar to HTST, but cools the product instead of heating it. From the cooling press, the white mass continues into another holding tank, known as a surge tank, where it remains until it is needed in the packaging stage. During packaging, the white mass is sent to filling machines, and depending on whether it is to be traditional or blended, the filling process will differ. At the filling lines, Dannon uses two basic types of packaging technology. The first is known as preformed cups, which uses existing cups or bottles that have been manufactured elsewhere. These cups or bottles are oriented properly into the filler, filled with the product, and then sealed. The individual cups or bottles are then coated, packaged, and palletized. Dannon's second type of packaging technology is known as the FFS method. FFS stands for Form, Fill, and Seal. This process starts with a large roll of plain plastic that is heated, formed into cups, and labeled. The cups are then filled with yogurt and the package is sealed, all in one continuous motion. The FFS technology generates less waste, improves the carbon footprint, and is more cost-effective to operate. Pressurized fruit totes formulated for each specific product and flavor specification are staged and routed to each fruit station. The fruits are blended with white mass for blended products or added to the bottom of the cup for fruit on the bottom products. For traditional products, white mass is mixed with culture and heated to over 100 degrees Fahrenheit just prior to filling. After packaging, the product is transferred to a heated fermentation room or incubator to enable the cultures to incubate in the cup. The white mass now transforms into yogurt as warm air circulates between the cases to maintain the proper temperature. When the pH is at the targeted level, cooling stops the fermentation process. For blended products, the already fermented white mass is blended with fruit or flavoring at the filler, packaged, and then cooled. Every packaging line undergoes stringent quality checks every 30 minutes to assure that products continue to meet their proper specifications. As product exits the fillers and proceeds down the line, it receives its own identification codes. It is then boxed and placed on pallets for movement around the factory floor. Product pallets are moved by robotic forklifts known as AGVs, automated guided vehicles. All products are cooled rapidly by moving slowly through cooling tunnels in which cold air is briskly circulating. The cold temperature halts the yogurt's fermentation. After exiting the cooling tunnels, the product is maintained at 40 degrees Fahrenheit in the cooler. There it is wrapped and held for 14 to 24 hours until the product clears its final quality checks. Once the product has been released, it can then be shipped to one of several external distribution centers or shipped directly to customers. The cultures are still alive, and they remain alive throughout the product's shelf life. The live and active cultures are the basis for yogurt's